flipped a couple bands and began to thrive. Time to put the team on cause we going live. Put all your money to work when you realize too much money to be made between you and I. Welcome to the Trade Tribe. All right, welcome. This is the Trade Tribe Season 1, Episode 3. My name is Tawfiq Suleiman, the student investor, as by no means am I an expert, but every week I'm looking to learn and bring my tribe along. The Trade Tribe is a trading community and show where we learn to trade, share strategies, and contribute to making the tribe wealthier. This show is our take on how we analyze the markets, what we think is going to happen, and how we make plays on that, as well as share our learnings along the journey. Between our trading group chat and or weekly recorded calls, we want to see every young adult a part of our tribe thrive. So make sure to add us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and any podcast platform at The Trade. This week, we have, I guess every week what we do is we typically have our guests intro and check in, answer a question each week. We talk about something funny, about a meme of the week. We have a short segment about lessons learned or something that we can kind of share knowledge about. That we have a week in review where we talk about what happened in the past week, major events and things that we learned from that or gains from that. Then also we talk about the week ahead. So planning and forward thinking about what we think might affect the markets. And we have a deeper discussion on what our picks are and what are the trades or plays that we're looking to make. And typically we end off with off-topic discussion and we exit out. And today we have myself, Heero, Hamid, Javier, and Lukman. And the question is for check-in, what show are you watching right now? I'll go first. My week has been great, getting better hang of the work-life balance. Pretty much spend all my time working my full-time job as well as working on this. But I think I'm getting the better hang of it. And the show that I'm watching is Billions. That's pretty much my favorite show right now because I feel like I'm learning a lot. It's about a billionaire investor that just makes a lot of shady deals. And Heero up next.
What's up, guys? I took on the weird challenge of deciding to map out the total ballots for Georgia, Illinois, Texas, California, and Nebraska, so I can tell everybody who's on that ballot if you're voting in one of those states. I'm gonna have a comprehensive list of who you should be voting for if you find me to be a decent person. And the show I've been watching is Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Nickelodeon. Don't judge me, judge Jesus.
All right, next, Lukman.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Man, just got off the road of college football this weekend. I'm currently watching Power on Stars. That's kind of the show I'm watching right now. Is Power.
Dope. Hamid.
Hey everybody, I've just been studying and catching up with some reading this week for school. But I've been rewatching The Sopranos. I watched it a few years ago, and I'm rewatching it again because it's just the greatest show of all time. So yeah.
Facts. Also, forget to mention that you're living your best life in Dominican Republic. But we'll go on to the next person, Javier.
Yo, what's going on?
Yeah, it's been raining a little bit. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for me at least, I've just been I'm still at school and everything, so I've been studying a lot. And I'm not really watching a show, but I am watching the NBA Finals and a couple of football games going on. So a lot of sports, basically. So that's why I've been watching this week.
True. Making money off sports betting. Thanks. And lastly, Tariq.
Yeah, what's up? I came a little bit late. Literally just got off the road, but I didn't want to miss this. What's up, Tribe?
What's good?
What shows am I watching right now? Oh, The Boys. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but
yes.
The show is incredible.
I feel like it's kind of a ripoff of Justice League, but it's funny.
It's way better. It's a rated R Justice League.
It's Justice League for adults. Is what would happen
basically.
If Superman was racist.
Hey, and Heero, the TMNT, yeah, I definitely don't judge. That was my childhood. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man. It was so cool.
The new episodes is badass.
Well, dope. Those are us having discussion today. Moving on, our meme of the week goes to, we see a picture of Trump with the title Trump tweet, and we just see three different people just looking awkwardly and probably mad at him. Typically my trade, which is person making the trade, the broker, and the SEC. For me, I think this reminds me of the similar meme with Elon Musk, because I feel like out of everyone on Twitter, the people that should have their accounts banned are Trump and Elon.
For
You think
sure.
Trump should have his account banned?
Yes, he's.
What else are we supposed to laugh at on the internet though? It's the fuck, dude. I don't, agree with Trump or anything he does. But come on, dude is hilarious. Dude is a riot, dude.
You want to know what's not funny? Losing $800 because he tweeted that he's going to the hospital.
Right.
That's true.
Like just him tweeting that he had COVID made the market drop on Friday like a couple percentage. That's crazy.
Nah, he should be banned outright.
He really should be banned.
Yeah, nah, for real. I'm always curious of who's really, putting out his tweets, because some of them you can tell he actually does, but I mean,
Right.
This is how you know he's the one tweeting. If there's a misspelled word, the day he misspelled his wife's name, I knew that was the difference. When he misspells the word, that's Trump. When it comes out making sense, it's somebody else.
Nah, I think it's really him because like if it was someone else, they have to really master his like persona for them to type exactly like him. So that's interesting.
Did y'all watch the debate?
Yes.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go on the next topics.
All right, okay. I'll wait for the topic then.
But that's the meme of the week. Going into the lesson of the week, one of the questions that I get asked a lot, and pretty much anyone asks as a beginning trader, is how do you invest? What style should you use, and what is the best, I guess, form of trading or investing for you? And typically, there's two things to note. There's two main buckets. That is active and passive. Active being more so assigned or correlated with trading, and passive being more so about investing. Under active, there are a lot of different stuff such as scalping, day trading, swing trading, and for passive, position trading and retirement. But I'll go into each of them in a little bit. So active trading, that's basically meaning that you, as a trader, what you're doing is staying abreast of all the stocks performing, doing your research and keeping up with like different news and technicals. It involves trying to beat the market, doing better than what the market average is, which is typically around 7% to 10%. And yeah, so pretty much what you're doing is more so doing stuff on a shorter time frame than long-term investing. And under that, you have scalping. That's when you kind of hop into a trade or a play or investing into a different security for a couple minutes to an hour. You just want to get in for a quick profit, either off some very strong, random, sharp momentum or volume off the stock. This is mainly advice for people that, this is kind of for people that don't truly believe in the stock, but are really trying to like capitalize on quick movements. The next step above that is day trading. And basically day trading means whenever you're buying a stock and selling it within the same day. It's similar to scalping, but has a longer time frame where you can probably buy at the beginning of the day and sell before the end of the day. Most of the people that are involved in this are people that are not too sure about the long-term implications of the stock or security, but still do believe that they could make substantial profit by holding it for most of the day. The next step above that will be swing trading. This is also normally referred to as momentum trading. And basically what you're doing is riding a more long-term momentum that might span over a couple weeks, or over a couple days to a couple weeks. So a lot of swing traders place their positions and hold them for a couple days or week, mainly based off strong news or fundamentals or some technical analysis, which might say the stock might be oversold or have a breakout coming soon. So a lot of people do that for try to time the market when they're dealing with that. And lastly, passive, the main two being position trading or retirement trade and investing. Position trading is basically when you make a strong stance that, you believe this stock is going to go up or down. So basically a bullish or a bearish position. Bullish, you've probably heard that a lot, means you believe the stock or the asset is going to go up in value. Bearish meaning the opposite. You think it's going to go down. So typically you'll try to short that. And depending on what your position is, that's what you do for, say, time between months to years, possibly all the way to retirement. Retirement investing being managed mainly through stuff like 401ks and Roth IRAs. It's basically you putting away your money into an asset and just leaving it there blindly, not really blindly, because you believe over time, by the time you reach your retirement age, you believe the stock will be, or whatever asset will be of much value. And other things, there's a lot of combinations or mixed different styles. For me, I also mix. I do a little bit of swinging, some long-term, depending on how much I believe in it or what I believe I can make from it. And there's many more, but for a beginner, these are some of the basic types to understand and figure out what works best for you. Everyone on this call has different strategies, so it'll be interesting to hear what y'all strategies are. So I kind of call people out. What would you say yours is, Heero? And short why?
I'm definitely in the party of scalping and also dividend trade. That's a little bit more advanced. I know for dividend, it gives me the ability and freedom to pick stocks that you can take a loss with, but if you own enough of those stocks, you get paid back that out in dividends. And at that time, when calls come out for weekly earnings, I then become a swing trader and a scalping trader because I sell everything off, scrape off the top, and wait for the earnings to drop the price, then buy back into the dip. So I kind of function in the realm of what's happening on the quarterly list, and everything for me is kind of charted and scheduled out. That's sort of my mythology. So I'm mixed if you had to label me.
Dope, dope, dope. How about you, Tariq?
When I first started off trading, it was definitely a swing trade. I would hear news of something that was going to happen, maybe next month or a couple months, and buy it up. Then the news, settles, and then sell off at the peak. But very recently, I agree with Heero. I'm definitely into more dividends trading now, and I guess it would be more position trading. I want to be able to secure anchors for my financial stability through my life. Try day trading. I realize that I'm not trying to sit down and look at it all day. But yeah, I guess I would be more of a passive swing trader.
Dope. Hamid?
For me, I definitely like to get into scalping. I'm quick with it. I like to. I don't quite have the capital enough to do the day trading yet. I think you have to have like 27,000 in for Robinhood. So, but I like scalping because you can get in, get out, and things like that.
Yep, that's facts. For day trading, that's another thing. Great point. Is for day trading, there is a rule that was applied by the SEC, which is called the PDT rule, also known as the pattern day trading rule, and basically it says that you're not allowed to make more than 3 day trades within a 5-day period. And for you to do break that rule and have unlimited day trades, you have to have a minimum balance of 25,000 in whatever brokerage account you have. So that's a great point. Javier?
But there's ways to get around that, but we don't have to talk about that.
Interesting. I'd love to hear them eventually.
Yeah, for me at least, I'm kind of more of like a passive position trading because just like what Tariq said, I'm not really trying to look at like the market like 24/7. So I just kind of invest in stocks that like I believe that are going to like do well in the future, like Apple, Microsoft, companies like that. That I just know like in the future everybody's still going to use. So yeah, when I see a dip, that's when I kind of buy, and when it dips even more, I kind of like don't panic or anything. So yeah, I would say I'm a position trader, passive.
Dope, 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 dope.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm more of a position trader right now. It kind of ebbs and flows for me. The busy time of the year for me is the fall. Working in sports, so I'm more of a position trader right now and a swing trader. So I'm just looking to lock in on positions. I buy all dips on tech. So if I see a dip with tech, I'm buying tech dips, and I'm just going to hold on to that because I know a year from now, my money will continue to grow. And I'm also in the process of putting my money into, real estate and other assets like that as well. So that's kind of my position right now. I will day trade if I see a terrible day and I know I can make a quick buck. So that's kind of my position.
Dope. That's actually a really good strategy, or I guess 2 good strategies you mentioned in terms of moving your capital from stocks into real estate, as well as really focusing on buying dips on tech. So great points. And that is the lesson of the week. This past week, man, it's been crazy. And I know we're going to have a long discussion about this, but the quick highlights being the unemployment numbers, the presidential debate, the COVID relief bill, or the news about it potentially being put into effect soon. Trump testing positive for COVID on Thursday night. 2 major IPOs by Asana and Palantir on Wednesday. And just a lot of profits from some of the stocks that we talked about last week. And yeah, just quickly into the unemployment numbers. So basically, U.S. economy pretty much added 661,000 jobs in the past month of September, which is kind of good, but it's still slow recovery for the economy. Doing a little bit better than previous numbers in March, but recent news have said that Disney pretty much announced 28,000 jobs they're cutting due to closing the California theme park. United Airlines and American Airlines pretty much announced they're doing a combined layoff of about 32,000 employees, and mainly as a show that they're really in need of funds. So that also ties into the COVID relief bill, which is being pushed forward mainly by people like Nancy Pelosi and the Steven Mnuchin. There go a lot of back and forth debate between the Democrats, and it comes on what that final number on the package will be. Democrats pushing for 2.2 trillion, while the Republicans are trying to undershoot to 1.5. So that is something that's being dragged after their long recess from the last time that they should have decided on this. But yeah, that ties into it because that decision will pretty much give us insights into what that bailout will look like for these companies, mainly the airlines, as they're the ones that might receive the most benefit from it. Beyond that, Donald Trump and former Vice President Biden had their debate on their first round of debates on Tuesday. And apparently it was a shit show. And I'd love to hear you guys' points on that because I didn't even bother watching it.
Actually, I did end up live streaming that. So if you guys are interested in watching the live stream and getting a first person perspective from my political view, it'll be on my channel. But just outright, it was two things. The two things you could take away for it is one, the American people lost, and two, Trump was out-trumped. He was outclassed in every way. There's something about a petulant child being like demeaned and denounced by an older sibling, and that's what it looked like. It showed the veteran, which is Biden, tutoring basically Trump in his own Trumpisms. For him to have been called a clown, to have been told to shut up, and been pled with by the proctor to just keep quiet and lose to an anchor who's from Fox News just doesn't look good. It was a bad look around, and he didn't denounce white supremacy. Like the mental loopholes you have to jump through in order to be that bad. But that's just me.
That's real.
Yeah, I tuned in and watched the whole thing. I mean, I was curious to see what kind of perspective Biden was going to take. I thought he had some good moments, some bad moments. I wish he would have took the time to actually talk about the policies that he really wants to put in place. I think he got caught up in the ebbs and flows of Trump being Trump, and I really think Biden had an opportunity to kind of make himself really like stand out, and I think when Trump took that shot at his son, I mean, I think that really kind of got under his skin and got him out of his comfort zone, and it kind of went downhill from there. But again, I agree with my brother. I think it was an embarrassment for everybody. Nobody wins in these scenarios. And again, I will never watch another debate between those two guys again. I don't think it's worth time. But it was hilarious. I will say that.
Yeah, definitely agree. And then that's if there's another round of debates, because apparently Trump tested positive for COVID on Thursday night. The news came out, and literally the next day, the S&P 500 pretty much dropped. I'm thinking, how much was it? I think it was down like 2% just off that news. So it's crazy. There was a meme I saw on Twitter. It was like, it was a planned stage, I guess, news so that he can back out of the debate because he thinks he lost. So it'll be interesting to see what you guys think about that.
What were you saying? Like, what do we think about Trump getting COVID?
Yep.
Oh, I 100% think it's fake. I mean, I don't wish COVID on anyone. That's not what I'm saying.
Shit, I do. Shit.
If anyone was to get it, though, I see, I'm not losing no sleep over it. I say that he got it. But I don't know. It's just highly convenient that he just happened to get it right now. Like, that's pretty – and now he can't do the debates. I just think that was just mad convenient. But if y'all didn't watch the debates, I plan on watching every single debate. This is one of the funniest things I've seen all year. I was like, look, the dude asking questions, asked Biden a question, and you just hear Trump on the side go, "Good luck." Like, just little stuff like that just be killing me because it's a grown man. It's a grown man that would watch it like a child. Yeah, I think it's fake.
Yeah.
I don't think he got COVID.
Yeah, I think, God, I mean, I just find it hard for Trump to get out of the spotlight for this long. I just have to believe it for some reason. I just think the rallies and all that stuff is kind of what he does. And for him to kind of sit down for 10 to 14 days, I got to believe it.
That is real.
And it's interesting because he had posted something, I believe, yesterday, which was a video of him saying he's on his way to recovering after being taken to a medical facility and having to go on oxygen, take all kinds of things, which I'm not sure if he really did or not. I think Heero have more perspective on that.
So uh, I watched the 4 minutes and 2 second long video, and then within like the first minute and 13 seconds, there's a jump cut. And then again at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, there's another jump cut. And it's sort of a jolting, implying that he coughed. I honestly believe he is sick. He is on remdesivir. These are board certified physicians telling us this. They are not permitted to lie about his health. He is an elected official, so we have the right to know about his treatment and care. In that report, it also came out for the first time that he does have a lingering heart condition. That's why hydroxychloroquine can't be used on him. He also needed oxygen. There's conflicting stories because on Friday, the story came out. The reason why he was taken to Walter Reed was because his PO2 stats dropped around 70%, which is not anything diabolical, which is why he was able to walk out and get onto Marine One. But in the event that this is a hoax or something to just plan. I mean, you look at the pictures that he took for the photo op and he's signing a blank piece of paper. So it does give grievance to the idea that he is planning all of this and just trying to get out of the debate. But for him to then how do you account for the other 27 people who caught it as well, such as Hope Hicks,
Yep.
Melania, Chris Chrissy? Like these
I think one of
people
his
are in the
advisors, too.
hospital. Their records are a lot more viable, and it's showing. Like Chris Chrissy, he is morbidly obese, and he's having a difficult time on the breathing regimen. So like these people catching Kellyanne Conway, like there's too many people directly in contact with him for him not to get it, I think. So I'm a believer, but hey, I don't think, once again, he's the most important man in the country right now. He's not dying. So I gave up on that hope.
True, true.
Well, you were way more educated than me. You might have just changed my. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Oh man, I make a business out of it.
And I like that's one of the great things about this discussion because we kind of fill each other in on things that one of us might have missed or have more dialogue. Like, what do you think is really going to happen? And like bounce ideas off each other. So that's one of the things I really like about these discussions. And yeah, two other things to note. The IPOs this past week, two major tech companies, Asana and Palantir. Asana is technically a data mining company, but what they do is they create collaboration software for teams and different enterprises, as well as Palantir, which is a major tech name. If someone works in tech, Palantir is pretty much a work management software firm. And these two companies are really big, or at least the news about them is kind of big. I believe is because they have ties, the founders and the investors backing them have ties to Facebook and PayPal. And both of those companies are companies that have been super successful. And typically when one person is working on a new company or startup or a product that was following a previous successful one, that one is typically going to do well. So those are things that I've been watching. I did buy a couple of shares. But the biggest thing with them is, although they're still relatively new, their stock price has dropped slightly below their IPO price. They did a direct listing instead of a traditional IPO. But I think there's strong potential for them to bounce back up because typically there's a quick dip once the stock comes out because a lot of the investors that were in early on typically lock in their profits. So I believe these might come in, but we could talk about that later. And then before we move on to the week ahead, big shout out to a lot of the stuff we talked about last week and the weeks before that. Some of the stocks being FMCI, one that Tarek called out, currently up 500% on that options play. That is huge. Other ones being the S&P SPY call and the SPG call. Those were more moderate profits. Those were locked in 6-7% and 26%. Blink, that was mentioned by Billy on the last call. The stock price rose 70% over the last week, right after she had talked about that. OSH, Oak Street Health, up more moderately on 2% for the week. NIO up almost 12% on that week. So if you had gotten into any of these trades, you'd have made a decent amount of money. That's one of the reasons, benefits of being a part of the Discord and being a part of our group chat and being able to join these calls. You get early call outs and some of them be profitable. Other ones that we're looking at, not as much movement, somewhere between the 0.6 and 3%, with the exception of one being down about 1%. And yeah, that's pretty much the weekend review. Moving forward, we got the week ahead. Main things that I saw, pretty much weekly unemployment claims, if it keeps declining or going up based off the company that's laying off and things like that, That'll cause some effects in terms of how do people think the market will react due to COVID and the entire economy. Next thing being Trump's health, as we just discussed. I guess for us, we're all in different areas. I guess different perspective on where we think this might help. It will be interesting to hear your points on if you think his health status might affect the market like it did on Friday.
For me, definitely. Seven of my stocks triggered for sell due to my trail stop loss. So I'm sitting on a bunch of cash right now. I was part of that 0.06 to 3% gain. I saw a 2% gain on my Starbucks and left, and that was as good as it's going to get. It's kind of scary to see how confident the market is in Donald Trump, because him announcing that on Thursday had a ripple effect all the way at 4 a.m. to our brothers to the east, and it continued to trickle down. It didn't impact it as much as I thought, but it definitely took I was scalping about $10 off of Tesla every week. This week I was only able to get 4. So in my mind, that's a 60% drop off, even though that's not realistic to the market itself. But that one announcement at 1 a.m. did enough damage to hurt me on Friday. So I think if he comes back this week, the market is going to explode. It's going to show a bolt of confidence, and he kind of holds that power in his hand now, because the moment he tweets it out, that's when we're going to see the ripple effect.
Nah, that's facts. And I think that's the main reason why I put that video out, because if he can show that, he's doing healthy, that's going to be a sign for, the market should bounce back on Monday. But it's kind of conflicting since they've been conflicting news, so it's really up in the air.
Nobody in the hospital is there because they want to be. You're either getting paid to be there, or you're going to die if you're not there. So until he leaves the hospital, I don't believe anything he says.
Facts. What do the rest of y'all think?
Trump is the inside man for the entire market. All his friends are up there, and we eat the trickles. I know it sounds messed up, but that's kind of how it is. So
it really is.
Yeah, I'm with Heero. I'm not gonna believe anything until the man is actually out. That's why I haven't made any plays this week. The market is very, it's scary. It can go either way, and there's no way I would risk putting my own money in it right now.
Facts.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think every move he's making right now is very political and very strategic. So I think there's going to be some type of – I think he's going to find a way for Congress to pass that, legislation and kind of tie everything together and try and peak out before the election comes. So I think he's going to be very strategic on the moves he makes in order to make the market boom at the perfect time to try and get some momentum going into Election Day.
Yeah, definitely. Just kind of like what everybody was saying. If he says like, I'm better and he's out the hospital and everything, like the market's gonna shoot up, I think. But if like we hear no news, everything's gonna be at a stalemate kind of. And also, what the last person said about political reasons. I think that's like a big reason why we haven't got like a official vaccine yet for the United States, because a lot of the companies are trying to rush it, just trying to get out there. And I don't know, sometimes they're not made the right way if it's too quick. So that was my 2 cents right there.
And that's actually a great point, because I think I've been hearing a lot of the major COVID vaccine candidates have been like, they're in their final phases, but those are being delayed for different reasons. So a lot of people are still thinking it's not going to be expecting to later in 2021 for these to actually be deployed and used by people.
Yeah, the World Health Organization has made a very bold statement. As great as America thinks it is, it's us versus the world. And the world significantly has us beat. They have multifaceted governments that are multitasking with different demographics. We started talking about plasma about 2 months ago. That was one of their first initial conversations. Extracting antibodies from people who have survived the disease is the easiest way to with epidemiology and virology to sort trace. But I think something that a lot of people aren't, the reason why Trump is more desperate for this stimulus check more than anything, because the polls, besides the fact he bombed the debates, this is the biggest gap Biden has created since his announcement and winning. So it's super interesting. What is his rebound going to be? What's Trump's ace going to be? So to see those play out is going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, so that'll definitely be something that we all like monitor and kind of like pay attention to over the week, because that definitely could affect different stuff. Moving on, we also got a couple of earnings going on this week. Three of them that I saw that might stand out were Domino's Pizza. Everyone knows Domino's Pizza. Same over the past, I guess in the second quarter, their store sales rose. The stock has rallied 45% in 20. This is kind of important because a lot of people think that might impact stocks elsewhere in the sector, such as other major pizza competitors like Papa John's. I think some call Yumna and another one. So this might be interesting to see or pay attention to for when the next couple pizza companies that have like large market share release their earnings. So based off how they perform, you can kind of probably make a guess on what the others would do. Another one being Lamb Weston, stock ticker LW. This company pretty much serves other major fast food chains. One of them major ones being McDonald's. If you've had a McDonald's fry, LW had something to do with it. They provide potential preview for McDonald's third quarter performance. So if you're paying attention to that, since they get 10% of their revenue from McDonald's, based off how LW does, might predict what McDonald's would do with their earnings call. And lastly, Paychecks. This is basically, I'm trying to remember what they do. So Paychecks, they basically, I can't remember what they do. Has anyone remember what Paychecks was by the chance? Sure. I guess we'll skip that for now. And I'll provide more details about that in the Discord. But those are a couple that are here this week that might be interesting players. I personally don't do earnings calls, so I may not be as fully informed on these, but it's interesting to see how they perform because they can help predict a lot of things in the future. And that's pretty much week ahead, unless anyone has anything else to include.
For Paychecks, they do for human resources and companies, they do payroll with everything.
Yep, right. They do like HR management software and tools and things like that.
So are they affiliated with ADP? Do you know? Are you familiar with that? Or do you guys?
I've heard of ADP, but I'm not too familiar. No.
Yeah, I've never heard of Paychecks. I've heard of ADP, and it seems like they do the same thing. I didn't know if ADP was a subset of Paychecks or if they were competitors.
I believe they are competitors. I think Paychecks is its own company. They have a tie to a different company while I was doing research. I just can't remember at the time right now. But that's a great point, though. Anything else for week ahead? Otherwise, we'll move on. And yeah, members picks. Heero kind of alluded to it earlier. A lot of stocks have been dropping slightly, so you will see people talking about stop losses kicking in. So most of us are in cash positions or more looking towards longer term positions or short term swing trades. So we'll kind of jump into that. Starting with myself, or then we can go next to Tariq and everyone else. For me, I recently hopped into two calls the end of last week. Barrick Gold, which is one of the major gold mining companies, as well as Carvana. These are two plays that that popped up my radar mainly for technical reasons. I'm a technical trader, so I follow tech analysis and using indicators. And the strategies that allowed them to pop up my radar is that I saw that they were highly oversold, and I personally believe and agree with Tariq when he will talk about it. How like with the market going down and people losing faith in the markets or dollar overall is really good tip to invest in precious metals and other forms of assets that will hold their value. One of them being gold. So with the market goes down, it's most likely that gold will go up. And with Carvana, they've been doing amazing. I think over the past year, their stock is up, I think 700%. And I'm confused why I did not catch that because I did swing them at some point a while ago. So I'm really confused why I didn't catch it. But I did see they were slightly oversold, and I think that trend might keep going up. So I might make an options play on that this week. Other stocks that I'm looking at are Shopify and DraftKings. Shopify because with everything going on, there's a huge boom in e-commerce, and I think Shopify is making a lot of major changes in how people tackle e-commerce, especially with that being an industry that a lot of people hopping in as an alternative to making money. So I think if they keep that up and release features, I think they're planning to release sometime soon. There might be a huge boom in Shopify soon. So I might be tracking that over the next 2 weeks. DraftKings, major player in the game betting and online, I guess, industry. A lot of my friends have been hopping on FanDuel, starting to make bets and making money or losing it from betting on games like the NBA Finals and things like that. So I think that might help. I guess them more traction and people getting into sports betting might drive both FanDuel as well as DraftKings up. So that's something I might be looking at. Then other ones that are downtrending. Energy stocks are down bad over the recent period. Netflix might be coming down bad due to news about them having a controversial, I think, movie title dropped on their platform. So they were down about 4% either last week, Friday, or for the week overall. And Tesla, because of, I guess, slightly disappointing news about their delivery, and I guess a recall of, I guess, battery day in terms of them not having too hopeful or missing out the delivery estimates that they've planned. And again, I got into Palantir and Asana for release after the IPO. If those start booming up again, I might make an options play on that. But for now, I'll just hold a couple shares of those. And lastly, I foresee a potential tech stock rebound. Javier mentioned that before he hopped off about how a lot of them are on the dip. So it might be a good point to buy in now and wait for them to rebound. Because if any of the stocks are going to pull the market back up, it's going to be the tech companies. And that's pretty much the things I'm looking at. I guess I'll pass it off to Tariq.
Yeah, like I said earlier, this week was basically, getting my cash in, holding on to it. I guess got a little bit more secure in some of my, long-term holds, just buying a little bit here and there. PLTR, yeah, the IPO, I wanted to get into it. I like the company. I like what they do. I've used Asana was the other one. This one was just cheaper. I've used Asana in a lot of my other organizations. Like I used to be in iGym, and we would use Asana. So technical groups who are working on technical projects use Asana all across the industry, and Asana is really good. Going to what you said about Shopify, there's three names on my list that I recommend everybody look into: Shopify, Etsy, and Fiverr. As our culture is moving more into, people staying home and be able to work from home and choosing to freelance instead of having to go work at a build or work at some other company, these are the three platforms that they're going to be selling their product on: Shopify, Etsy, Fiverr. Look into them. They've been blowing up this past year if you guys are interested in really good plays. But very slow week for me. Facts.
And you made a couple great points with Asana. I work in product development, I guess product management in the tech company. So Asana, I'm a geek on that. So I think Asana is a really great product. It's a little bit technical, so it won't be available. It won't make sense for every common day users, but their platform is so useful that I think they could really blow up in the future. And that's the main reason why I bought a couple shares, because if that becomes well adopted, similar to how Zoom and Teams was, I think that could really skyrocket. So I think Asana is a strong buy for me. So that was actually a great point. And yeah, I guess I'll pass it off to Heero.
For me, this was mostly recovering for me, but I definitely have noticed that Amazon Prime Day is coming up October 13th through the 14th, and Amazon stocks has been sort of dwindling sideways for a little bit and even had a dip. If you bought into that dip, you could get your dividends back in 10 sums. Amazon Prime Day is Black Friday for them, so expect to get a big call from that. Another thing is, once again, I'm going to use the cash I got and save it and kind of revamp and retrack what I did last week. Just because it didn't work last week with the variable doesn't mean it won't work when the variable is put back in place. So I'll report back with Starbucks and a lot of those food delivery groups that are making use of what's new normal. You feel me?
Facts. And that's actually a great point that a lot of people don't pick up on, especially as new beginner traders. Once you lose a trade or I guess get stop lossed out, a lot of people give up on it. But again, just like with Carvana, when I got stop lossed again a long time ago, but look at them, they're 700% up. What the stock that you might have took a 2% loss off or 5% stop loss off of could shoot up the next day. It might just be based off timing. So that's actually a very great point that you mentioned. And yeah, I guess I'll pass it off to Lukman.
Yeah, no, I think I'll be able to kind of get back to it this week for sure, but I'm kind of holding steady right now. I'm not putting too much into the market right now just because I just think this election is unpredictable and yep. I don't know. I just think there's a lot of room for loss more than gain. So I'm being very strategic. I'm locking in all of my tech stocks, but I sold a lot of, dividend stocks that my brother had and I'm just kind of holding cash right now just to kind of see how this thing plays out. Because, I think this is just going to be one of the most unpredictable elections that, it could ever happen. I think it can get as bad as if Trump wins, Trump's his followers, God knows what they'll do. You know what I mean? So it's a very, situation that's unprecedented. So I'm kind of just holding cash right now, just buying dips on Amazon and companies like that in the tech industry.
Facts. And the only way to catch up, I guess, catch in on all those opportunities that might come up in the future will be to have cash on hand. So cash position right now is actually a really good strategy. But you do make a really good point, because I've been seeing a lot of stuff on Twitter where a lot of people that kind of identify or support Trump, specifically members of like the Proud Boys and things like that, making like bold claims where like if Trump wins, there will be war. There will be stand back and stand by orders, basically. So it was crazy depending on what outcome could be. Some people saying no matter what the outcome will be, there'll be some kind of big reaction. So it's really hard to say what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think anything good's gonna happen. Like if Biden wins, a lot of people will be happy, but then you're still gonna have people pissed. So I think it's a lose-lose situation for the market in that regard.
Statistically speaking, though, every president who's had a good record in the stock market in the third quarter has won the election. And seeing as how Trump is starting at a negative 60% deficit, he's poised to already lose. So him recovering the market would be the one variable, one-off that you could use to kind of say he's going to win. But once again, there'll be a few idiots on the street, but civil discourse can't remain. Once a new leader steps into place in power, the same way they hid when Obama was in charge, the same way they'll hide when Biden's in charge.
Facts. And it's really interesting you say that, because those stats, history really do just repeat itself. So if he can't recover the market, there's a chance that he might just not be elected, and stats show itself really.
Plus I'm saving some of this cash for this real estate, man. These interest rates, I got to take full advantage. So that's another reason why I'm kind of holding my cash. I just think long term, I think it's going to be one of those situations where you wish that you made a move 5 and 10 years down the line. So that's kind of where a lot of my cash will be going as well too.
Facts. How do you think the real estate market is going to look? I guess a lot of people have been hopping into like the buying wave, wholesaling and flipping this past year, at least from what I've seen.
Yeah, well, first off, I just think the interest rates, like, I'm going to buy, a crib and hold it for 2 or 3 years. So I just think, and then, probably rent it out. So I just think the interest rates, and I just think there are a lot of people who are vulnerable right now, unfortunately, and they want to kind of just get rid of something. So you're going to get some really good prices. So I think a combination, especially in Atlanta, of interest rates and, people wanting to, downgrade their house size and save money and things like that are putting people in a position where you can really capitalize if you got cash on hand and kind of take advantage of it.
You have to be super careful. Like location. It's a golden rule of real estate, and it's still going to be golden. Even in the 2008, when the bubble burst for the real estate market, the places that you could still buy a house and sell a house were still the top 13 major cities. So if you're trying to buy a buku house out in 60 miles outside of Atlanta, you're gonna eat that cost. If you're able to pitch in the extra $30,000 and get a house in the city, people want to live where the money is made. Money are made in cities. Period.
Facts. And you made a great point regarding the bubble, because it's interesting that a lot of people are kind of comparing the current situation with like previous bubbles, the housing market bubble crash in 2008 being one, as well as the tech bubble between 1999 and 2000. And it's interesting like how like all these different uncertain things are all tying together. Like what is really going to affect the market? Is it going to be the overvalued tech stocks that are coming down similar to the tech bubble? Is it going to be the housing market crashing, the economic situation? And it's just really interesting seeing like how all of these kind of combine.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I just think the emotional toll that this year has taken on people have just taken the market. I mean, this is my first year in the market, and I've seen the highs of the highs and the lows of the lows. So it's just been kind of a roller coaster ride for me.
Yeah,
so
you
I'm
can
like,
say that
oh
again.
shit. I can't take any more CNN articles coming across my phone, man. I just fucking check my damn check my accounts like, holy shit, here we go.
Man,
So,
to wake up on March 13 was a whole nother day. March 13 will live in infamy. I couldn't hit stop, sell. So that was the first time I thought like me punching my screen was going to crack my screen. Like I logged in on the computer trying to stop stuff from sell everything, sell the house, sell the sink. Changed my life.
No doubt.
And that's actually a really good point because one, when people see stuff like that, it's gonna be a lot of volatility, a lot of people pressing buttons trying to hop in. So so there was an article I was reading just yesterday. I think it was by Market Watch, and we're talking about how like different brokerages and exchanges are already trying to prepare for the election season because they think there's gonna be a huge spike in volatility. Because imagine when, based on whatever happens, it's gonna be a lot of buying and selling that their servers or systems might not be able to handle. So for people, especially on Robinhood, I'm telling you, please, please, please plan ahead. This past year has been the most outages for Robinhood. I think during the first initial like pandemic news, when the stocks were crashing, they had multiple days where like people could just not place orders, and like they were either stuck in losing positions and could not do nothing. So if you are in any of these, please be careful and mindful that there could be outages, there could be stock halts or trading halts and things like that. And those are basically when the brokerage just kind of pause stocks or the overall market, I guess, when there's too much volatility and it might affect people's positions. Some people gonna get bit off because of that, but if you can prepare as much as possible, that's why like what Lukman said about having, Lukman and Heero said about everyone, I guess we all agree, having a cash position right now is a really good strategy right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Taufik talked me into getting a TD Ameritrade account with my long-term positions months ago, and it's the best decision I ever made. So now I can play around with my Robinhood, and all right, cool. But you know, my long-term positions are I can get in and out as I please. So that was a really good strategy. I'm glad I made because I got caught up in that volume of Robinhood, and it wasn't a good day. Let's just say that.
I also got caught up in it too. Like it was crazy because like if you're in a position, you literally cannot sell. Like, you can literally just gotta sit and look at your phone and watch the number decrease as the day goes. Like it's like damn, your heart,
while
man.
You're at work too. While you're at work too, you just see your revenue just dropping, and you're like, I'm making money off the clock on the clock right now, and little do I know I'm just burning it away because of this app called Robinhood. So I'm just donating cash.
Look, pretty much, you're giving it away to someone else in the world, whoever is on the opposite side of that trade.
Yeah, exactly.
Robinhood is really good for your lottery ticket. You know, you use TD
Ameritrade,
absolutely. Use your like I use Charles Schwab.
Yep.
Okay.
Use those for your like true long-term positions. But Robinhood, let's say you hear somebody say, "Oh, this is gonna be the next Amazon." Well, I might dip into it.
Right.
But I'm gonna do it on my Robinhood, not on my, my
real account. That's actually a great point.
You make a good point because like the last 4 dividend tech stock, energy stocks that I had, all tapped out. So my dividend stocks I've been trying to move them over to TD Ameritrade desperately, and now this is like the perfect incentive to do it because that leaves me. So I divvied up when I first made my first K off of Robinhood. I divvied up 500. So now I'm going to be up at 800 on TD Ameritrade, and I'm already back to 1,002 on Robinhood. So it's just the perfect play around tool for me. And the dividend stocks has always been I'm a loyal fan to it because it's zero-sum game. You know you're going to get paid as long as you get out when you're supposed to, and there's a calendar for it now. You just put in your numbers. So it's going to be super interesting to see what happens on election day. I hope there is the volatility because we know how puts work. Back then, I didn't know how puts work. But I pray for the volatility this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for real. I'm gonna try and leverage some stuff too. I think you got to take advantage of
the new
emotions because
the blood pressure. You got to take advantage.
We know what's gonna happen too. And another thing too, I'm trying to keep in mind is also positions to help myself as far as tax purposes as well too, because that's the thing people don't really think about. It's like, all right, you're making all this money right now. There's a tax for everything. So I think it being October, we got to make sure we have certain positions, and maybe you don't take a certain profit if you don't have to, so you can kind of push some stuff forward to 2021. So that's something I'm trying to think about as well.
Oh man, Luke, donate that to somebody. You don't gotta pay Sam.
Ideally me.
To somebody.
Help a starving African kid foundation.
There are a bunch of green card Africans in this country, bro. Save someone.
I'd rather send any of y'all a check than to send it to somebody else who's getting $600 a week. $600 a week chilling.
It's really crazy because a lot of people do not know that you get taxed on the profits you make from trading and investing. Like the day that I found out, that was like literally the day my hatred for the American government system grew.
Yeah.
Wait, let's not talk about the IRS or the Fed because
if this stream gets cut and I don't get a text from any of y'all, just know they got me, okay?
Hey, but I just letting y'all know because y'all talking about like how the election is crazy. I've been going off information back. I think in July was when I first heard it. It was about Warren Buffett came out and he said it. He said the market is going to take a dip. Around the October. I mean, that's what happens every year. We know it, but it's going to take a further dip, and the election is going to be a catalyst for it.
Yeah.
So I've been holding my money on like through October, maybe buying some things here, but I'm honestly just waiting on the election. Something is about to happen. I don't know what it. Maybe Trump and company's gonna pull something out their ass that we don't know about. I'm just expecting anything, any possibility that could actually happen. This is Trump we talking about. This dude can do stuff that we can't even imagine. All I say is be ready.
Facts. And that's actually a great point. Like, really, it's hard to tell, but just kind of find those opportunities, but maintain that cash position. Kind of reiterating like a lot of stuff that we all kind of agree on. So that's good.
And gold. My bad. And
gold. Yep.
You with that option, yeah, 100% gold and crypto. Y'all, if y'all not in crypto, put your money in crypto. Every single year, the American dollar depreciates further and further and further, and it hasn't come up ever since they first made the dollar. Get some cryptos.
And that's actually a great point in terms of like investing in crypto, because a lot of different governments are really considering, even America is considering it. I think there was a bill that was passed into the House of Representatives. They were trying to make the U.S., I think it was called USDC, like United States dollar crypto or something.
They're trying to basically make the crypto fall under the dollar, be dependent on the dollar.
Which hopefully they never do that. That would be trash.
Well,
but
it's
every
impossible
single world
to do it. It's because how do you dictate the value of someone's crypto coin that is living in Saudi Arabia?
They won't be able to.
Yeah, you're not able to. You can't assess. There's certain people's crypto who is completely reliant on like data that is mined for advertising. So it's like, how do you put a value to that?
I think there's a way that they could figure out. They can figure out some way. They'll come up with some unique or tricky, shady way, probably. Because no, for real. Because think about it. The reason why they're really trying to do this is because, one, they're trying to get more revenue. Now imagine the dollar. A lot of it's in cash. Some of it's still in cash. A lot of it's all digital with numbers in your bank account. But with digital currency, and if they force everyone to kind of get rid of cash and move to this digital coin or US dollar, they can now track even more spending and charge more tax. Because what does the government do? Tax everything. So if they can now track more transactions, that's more revenue from them from having taxes on those transactions. So that's I think is one of the biggest reasons why they're really interested in it. So really, if they have that motivation to get more money, I feel like they can make it happen.
I mean, the government's trying to get into it because they know in the future this will be standard currency, and they're trying to get on it now because if they can have a foundation here, they have gain power and influence. That's what our government has been doing. Like, look at the dollar itself. The dollar itself is now owned by the Federal Reserve, which isn't even a government entity. Like, think about that. It's very unconstitutional to use the dollar. I don't know if you guys comprehend that. That's insane that every single dollar that we use is printed unconstitutionally. It's messed up. But this is what the U.S. government does all the time, is just try to get into a power position of something that's going to dictate the lives of everyone in the future.
I can see your point, because basically I think, if I remember correctly, the Federal Reserve is pretty much created to kind of like patch up different things that they were dealing with in terms of the economy and like kind of fix it. So their job is really just to increase rates, reduce rates, and try to help with the flow of, I guess, the cash that they're printing. And in times of COVID, you can see how easily they can print out trillions of dollars.
No, I mean, it's literally unconstitutional because it's supposed, in our Constitution, the only person who can print money is our Treasury. But the Federal Reserve is a private bank. It has nothing. It's not like no one in the government can go into it. It's not a government entity. It's 100% unconstitutional. But I mean,
oh, interesting.
Please do your research on this. Heero, this is what I was talking about, how I could go on a whole rant about the Fed and stuff like that. We won't do it here, but basically
No,
get into
facts.
crypto.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's something to be looked into. I don't know if I know about that specific thing because the person I'm thinking about is the Trade Commission that also accepts the votes and legions. So the people who set the national interest value also are subsidiary of the federal government. But are they the ones that are? How are they elected? Like that part I don't know. So I would have to take your word on that. But
Nobody knows.
huh?
Nobody knows how they're elected. A lot of the people currently a lot of the people in the Fed are people who aren't even Americans. We got, people in the some of the Rothschilds, some families in Saudi, the Rockefellers, the JP Morgans, yeah, they're American. But I mean, a lot of the people on that board that makes those decisions aren't even based here in America.
I would have to look into that. That's interesting.
Please.
Nah, same as for me. I'm definitely not I guess as well versed in like understanding like those different components, but they do play a big role in terms of how the stock market works. The Federal Reserve, the Treasury, all these different people in these positions. So that's a great point though. But wrapping it up, kind of wrapping the discussion. Hamid and Javier had to hop off, but similar to us, they're also looking at different swings that it can make while the volatility is up, holding cash positions. But one stock that Hamid is looking at is Nike. Due to he believes that his online sales booming, so there might be a move that he might be playing an options play off that. And Javier, since he's more of a newer trader, he's looking into just buying more blue chip tech stocks on the dip while these things are dipping and potentially going to boom back up. And pretty much, yeah, that's the members' picks of the week. Stay tuned for the results about how those go. Next week, I'm already knowing we all going to be in the green, and that's on period. Because we only make money in the trade tribe. But finally, if you enjoyed the discussion, enjoy the things that you see or are interested in learning more, feel free to reach out. I'll mention the contact and different avenues you can reach us out. If you're interested in being a tribe member, right now we're letting people in. There is an interview process to make sure that you're a good fit for the tribe. But we want to see everyone be successful, so we'll work with you to help you bring you up to speed and join the tribe. The tribe is ever growing. We have 2 new members. Shout out to Jesse and Javier. And if you also have any feedback, anything you like on these calls, these videos, these content we make, feel free to send that. Let us know. Leave comments and all the shabazz. Any questions? Any last closing notes, guys?
Don't be good, be great.
We just start burning the dollar.
Really productive conversation. I think we're all thinking about the right things, and I think we're being cautious and making sure we protect the most important thing, which is cash. So I think we're thinking about the right things.
Yeah, a lot of people keep confusing the goal of investing is to grow your money, but really it's to protect your capital. Every dollar is a little soldier that you can use to go make more money. So the more you lose your capital, the less you can even make in the market. Just people's most goal. But yeah, this was the 3rd episode of the Trade Tribe. Make sure you check out our different platforms. Thanks for listening. Thanks to the guests that we had on today. If you didn't know, this is the Trade Tribe. Make sure to share this with your friends and family, whichever way you are watching or listening to this. Follow us on social media at the Trade Tribe and subscribe to us on YouTube at any podcast app you're on. Good luck trading and tribe out.